Aaron Patrick reported in the Financial Review on the weekend a study by the IPA in Melbourne, pointing to the fact, and this is just grotesque, but we knew it all along, we could see it happening, at the same time that all those Melbourne and Victorian small businesses and private enterprises have gone into the red, have been decimated. The public service, that protected, pampered public service of Dan Andrews, have got wealthier and wealthier. Talk us through it, James.
Yeah, well, so the research, the numbers are very, very clear. If you were in the public service, you did very well out of the pandemic. If you were in the private sector, not so much. Your average private sector worker received a pay cut of $1,255. Your average public sector working for the government worker received a pay rise of $1,574. Now, this brings to mind, I think it was the great American writer H.L. Mencken's comment, but it may have been somebody else, that democracy can survive until everybody decides that they can vote themselves rich.
Right.
And that is exactly what is happening here in Victoria right now, Rowan and Rita. The population is now so weighted towards the public service that the electoral calculus is such that we do not need, the small business owners who've been screwed over by all of this. Screw them. We figure that, lower paid gig workers, they'll probably vote for Labor anyway. And so they just figure we don't have to have any consequence now because we can pay for our voters through the public purse. It's deeply cynical, and it really is where democracy begins to die, because Victoria is also the place where more than anywhere else, the Premier, well, we haven't seen the Premier for months now, but you've got the acting Premier and you've got the health people now. The health people are really the only ones who are running this state down there in Victoria. It was really a dictatorship of virtue that is now unquestionable, and there is no democratic accountability to it.
Well, Rita, I think this is really, really important, what James is saying. The unaccountability of these bureaucrats is frightening. Worse, Brett Sutton, your chief guy down there, he seems to revel almost in ramping up the hyperbole of how scary this is. COVID was a beast last week, a beast. And according to the Australian and a report in the Inquirer, apparently this character, according to one of the Dan Andrews government insiders, he told Inquirer that your Brett Sutton guy catastrophizes by nature. He's a catastrophist. Well, this is the unelected official that James is talking about, who's a catastrophist who is relentlessly pessimistic, according to members of the government. This is terrifying. You have a government being run by a bloke who sounds like who's convinced that the worst is going to happen, and he's the chief medical officer. This is incredibly dangerous.
Well, I'm going to be talking a little bit about that in Reality Check, because before he became a household name during COVID, he was the Chief Health Officer who was really concerned about the public health implications of climate change. And he was writing papers about that and doing speeches on that. And he characterised it as a catastrophe, the climate change impact on public health. So, you might have a point there, but this week he came out and said this new strain is an absolute beast. And then there were suggestions also from the health bureaucrats that it was behaving in ways that we've never seen before, and that was to justify again their drastic actions. And a number of experts came out and disputed that strongly and said there's no evidence that this virus is moving faster and in ways we've never seen before. So that was good to see. But the alarmist rhetoric is a feature of the Victorian government. That's how they do things. It's not about calming the population and being sensible and evidence-based in their advice. It is hyperbole all the way.